think your only path to the nomination is through a broker?
Well, look, I have to win. It's not impossible. I have to win. After I win Ohio, I have to win 68% of the remaining delegates. Marco's got to win like 64. And, you know, Ted is somewhere around 59 or 60. It's unlikely. And so if nobody goes to the convention with enough delegates, then we're going to have to meet in. By the way, they told me the convention's going to be held in Cleveland. That's kind of interesting.
Place close to home. All right. I want to talk about your background and experience. I actually think there's some truth to what you say that a lot of people didn't know you. And maybe I'm showing my age here, but I remember you and Pete Domenici and Bill Clinton was president.
And Newt.
Newt Gingrich became the Speaker of the House. And you guys took on a sitting president. You did get to a balanced budget. You did get to a surplus.
Reform welfare.
But now we have $20 trillion in debt,
That's right.
$120 trillion in unfunded liabilities. The numbers are much bigger. Can you do that?
Of course.
How do you duplicate that?
Let me just remind you of something that's really sad. When I left Washington, we had a projected $5 trillion surplus. Okay? And my friends told me in Ohio, now that you and your buddies are leaving, they're going to spend it. I said, you can't spend $5 trillion. We could have had private accounts for all the young people, which would have given them not only Social Security, but the ability to grow with the strength of the economy. Guess who controlled Congress? Republican House, Republican Senate, and a Republican president. No one stood in the breach and remembered the people. And they blew $5 trillion, put us deeper in the hole. I like to say, you know, Democrats, they love to spend, so do Republicans. They just feel guilty when they do it. But, I mean, we have to think about this. Here's, at the end of the day, if we cannot control this fiscal policy, if we cannot reduce the taxes or control regulations, we're going to drift. And we're going to have a lousy economy, and these young people who want to realize their God-given purpose will be denied it. See, what politicians worry about too much is being popular. You can't, if that's your goal is to be popular and loved and you worry about the next election, get out. Just go away. Go do something else. You're in there to raise everybody and make hard choices. I've done it all my life. This is not rhetoric, folks. Go check my record. A lot of people run away from their record. Please go check my record, okay? And you'll see that it's true. We stand together, we'll have victory in this country. I'm telling you.
Chris Christie said there's no way to balance the budget without dealing with entitlements. We've always been told that's the third rail of politics. Yeah. Well, hang on. He said to me, he goes, politicians already stole your Social Security. It's never been put in a lockbox. So does that mean you raise the eligibility age to 1 day before I die, and I've been paying in since I'm 12? Does that mean that you're going to means test it and the government gets to confiscate all the money they said they'd give you back later in your life? You know, is that the only way to do it? Well, or are there other ways to do it?
First of all, there is no third rail. If you think there's a third rail, don't run. You go in there to do something, okay? Can we fix Social Security? Yes. I'll tell you what it's going to mean. It's going to mean if you've been wealthy throughout your life, you will still get Social Security. You just won't get as much. And for those that really depend on it, they'll get their benefits.
So we'll legalize the government stealing money from some people.
Well, look, I mean, Sean, at the end of the day, we are where we are. I had a plan 17 years ago that would have fixed this program for 75 years, and they just wouldn't deal with it. So what I would suggest to you is, I don't want to get into all the details, but there's basically IOUs, all of which are being paid back. The problem we have today is we have a lot of retirees that are living longer. That's a good thing. And fewer workers. I mean, it's a demographic issue. Let's deal with it, and let's be as fair as we can. On Medicare and Medicaid, I believe that we can have a system that actually gives us better quality care at lower prices. Look, I took Medicaid in Ohio from a 10.5% growth to 2.5% in my second year. We didn't cut one benefit, and we didn't take one person off the rolls. Isn't that amazing? Growing at 2.5%. And how do we do it? We innovated. Everything, I wish I had a smartphone. Everything in America. Give me that smartphone here, okay? When my kids were about 10 or 11, they said, "Daddy, what's that box over there?" I said, "What box?" Oh, I said, "Oh, that's where Superman changes his clothes, and Mom and Dad used to put coins in that thing." And they went, "No way," okay? Everything, let's Uber-ize the federal government. Let's Uber-ize all of government and bring technology, innovation, and the speed of business into everything we do in government. And have some guts.
Let me talk about...
By the way, just give you a good example.
As you can see, I'm doing a lot of work up here.
Oh, let me give you a good example. Uber, okay? Doing a great job, right? We all like Uber. Here's the thing. You realize in cities that the politicians and the regulators are lining up to try to snuff it out. You see, the fact of the matter is we need to welcome innovation and change. It makes us fresh, new, alive again. And we got to stop that kind of stuff.
I want to talk about homeland security. We have people chopping off people's heads, burning them alive. They are saying convert or die, and it raises questions about the safety and security of every American. ISIS is the modern-day evil in our time.
Yes.
Okay. Is this an ongoing war? Do we have the ability to win it without boots on the ground?
No, we have to go. No, we have to get up. We have to get, just like what we did to push Saddam Hussein out of Kuwait. Look, here's my view. You get the Arabs, okay? You get Egypt and Jordan and Saudi Arabia, the Gulf states and others, and then bring our Western allies who are really sitting right there. We got to go in the air, on the ground, and we have to destroy ISIS.
So we're going back on the ground.
Yeah, but look, get it, win it, destroy them, settle it down, and come home. Let them over there draw the map. Don't be policemen of the world.
Why aren't they doing it on their own?
Because they won't, Sean. They won't. So we have to lead or nothing's going to happen, and ISIS is going to grow bigger and dig in deeper. Now, let's talk about here at home. The FBI heads the Counterterrorism Task Force, along with Homeland Security, state and local officials, and that's good. And they do a great job of disrupting. And for everybody here, you see something, call somebody, please. Now, let me also tell you, we got this big fight going on between Apple and our intelligence community. If I were President of the United States, I would take Apple and the intelligence community, lock them in a room and say, you aren't coming out till you figure this out, and when you come out, you're not going to talk to the press about it, and we're not going to put it on the front page of a paper. We're just going to make sure we're secure. That's what a leader does. And I might put Hannity in the room with him.
That'll work. But in all honesty, what I would like to see for America, I mean, we all watched our sons and daughters, and they shed blood in Ramadi and Fallujah and Mosul and Tikrit, and now those cities are in the hands of ISIS. Because just like Vietnam, once we politicize a war the way this president has and Hillary has and all these other people, you know, our sons and daughters died there. And I worry that I think we've got to advance and develop the technology where we don't have to send men and women over there to fight and win wars. Aren't we on the verge of cutting technology that will allow us to fight wars without going door to door to door and up-armored Humvees and dealing with IEDs?
Well, you know, Sean, you're right about that, because technology can play a really good role. But there is not going to be a substitute for people, at least in our lifetime, unfortunately, having to be on the battlefield. Now, I served in defense for 18 years, and Rumsfeld called me in after 9/11, and I helped out there. I just have to tell you the reality of it. And I think the people are prepared for this because we look the other way. There's no negotiation, as you know, with ISIS. They hate our very existence, okay? So, but the key is, don't be a nation builder, and don't think you're going to convert all these people to our way of life. It's not going to happen.
Are we fighting wars too politically correct?
Oh, well,
Ted Cruz has said carpet bomb them. Donald Trump said bomb the living out of them. And I wonder if, you know, America is too concerned. Look, we care about human life. We're pro-life.
Correct.
But are we overly concerned about collateral damage to the point where we've tied our hands that we can't win?
No, you go to war, you win the war, and you don't fool around with it. And secondly, unfortunately, you cannot win this from the air, Sean. You have to take ground. I mean, it just is the way it has to be. But let me also say,
we got to wrap up.
The United States should never involve itself in a civil war. And we also really fouled up this thing in Libya, where we withdrew Gaddafi. Now ISIS is there. Hillary was behind it. I mean, when you think about Hillary's time as the Secretary of State, the whole world started doubting America. Now she wants to be the commander-in-chief. Give me a break, okay? It's an absurd consideration.